Hi everyone, my name is Cameron and today we're back at another book review and we're going to be doing the new book, and as I said, hopefully you guys are stay tuned if you're still watching. And exactly 30 seconds ago we finished this book and now we are doing our first review on this book. I lied, it wasn't going to be a 50-50 video, it's going to be two separate videos. This is going to be the second one. And so yeah, let's get on to the book. Hopefully you're doing well and you're going to learn about the millionaire next door and what they really are. So, first I'm going to ask you, what's the stereotypical millionaire? Mommy, what's a stereotypical millionaire? When you were like 7, what did you think about the millionaire? Like, what would they look like?
What they look like? They look like millionaire or billionaire?
Millionaire, then billionaire. You know, this
Okay,
is the millionaire next door.
millionaire.
It's going to be the billionaire next door.
What
You
they
probably
look
won't
like?
be living next to the billionaire, but maybe because they're going to be very far away. Their land's really large, but
They are very like neatly dressed, and they are humble. They love to read. They value time.
actually, no. I don't think you thought that when you were younger. I think that's your definition right now.
Now,
But
yeah.
when I was like, but if, oh wow, of course they had to do that. Wow, if I was thinking about it like 5 years ago, I mean it wasn't that long ago, but that was pretty much half my life already. So, if I was thinking 5 years ago, it would be this dude with his hair to the right. He would be wearing a black suit with a red tie, blue tie, whatever it is, red or blue tie, and he would have his pocket on his suit inside out, like they always do, and he would have a pen in his pocket, and he would just look like a dude in a suit, pretty much. And he would probably have black or blonde hair, whatever it is, and be living in like a 10-story house. That's what I thought before. I mean, that's more like a billionaire. I mean, I'm not sure if a millionaire would live in a 10-story house, but whatever it is, like 5 stories, which is already pretty much a lot. And I thought they would live in that, very rich, eating lobster, even though I can't eat lobster, eating Gordon Ramsay, all that crazy stuff. And that's what I was thinking. Now, billionaires and millionaires are a lot different, because a billionaire is like 1,000 times a millionaire. It's like a millionaire, but wait.
Million.
No, that'd be a trillion. It'd be 1,000 million, if that was a thing, which is a billion. So, and a million doesn't make you a millionaire, but it can. So we're gonna be really confusing, but it's not millionaire. It's gonna be something else. But you could be considered something when you don't have that much of a net worth. So, yeah, that was our stereotypical definition. Good food, good dress. I mean, good dress would probably be correct, but good food, good dress, nice house, huge pool, jacuzzi, movie theater, and a lot of that crazy stuff. So that was what I was thinking about a millionaire. And let's go on to the real definition. So, at first I was talking about how people were asking him about how to live. And first I'm going to talk about a little bit about Sam Walton. So, not literally, but the way he lived. Sam Walton is the most, not stereotypical, but when you think of billionaire, you're probably thinking of him, or Jeff Bezos, or Bill Gates, or Warren Buffett, but he's a billionaire, and not as much as like today, because of course inflation. He was worth like 4 billion, like between 3 and 7 billion, something like that. But when he died, so he was worth a few billion. And if you look at the way he lived, when he was really wealthy, people came banging on his door, and they were like, "Can I have a free house?" And they were asking for like free cars, free. They want his money, and the reporters are like, "Okay, where is your house?" And when you see him living in not a farm, but like a pretty normal house, driving a truck that's not the newest, it's used, and he's just living like a normal person, walking his. By the way, he did talk about him walking a chicken at one point. It looks like the scenery when you imagine it, making me think of a farm, but not really. So, because I thought a chicken, broken down truck, and broken down house. I thought farm. So whatever it was, that was how Sam Walton lived. He probably lived a lot better than that, but that was just how they described it. So now let's get on to the way that they live. And some questions are, how come I'm not wealthy? And many people ask this question a lot. Often they're hardworking, well-educated, and high income. Then, like, if they have all that skills, you shouldn't work for people. And it's going to be really, really hard to explain because I don't even know how to say it. I need to increase my vocabulary because I don't know how to describe some things. Like, I just can't describe stuff. So, actually, just one thing here. Here are the 7 factors of people who successfully, the common denominators, people who successfully build wealth. Number 1, they live well below their means. Do you know what that means?
Mm-hmm. So you don't want to
Ethics?
spend, no, you want to spend more than you make. Let's say if you make $10, you only spend like 40%, $40, and $10 you save $40. You save $6 and you spend $4 of that. You don't spend more than 50% of your income.
Alright, the next one would be they allocate their time, energy, and money efficiently in ways conductive to building their wealth. And that was pretty much this. But he just talked a little bit on it, but it was more like the 4-hour work week talked a lot more about that. So here's I'm doing all 7 factors, then we'll go on to the real stuff. And this, by the way, this is not even chapter 1. This is not even page 1. It's actually page 4. But it's not reaching official chapter 1 where they're talking about the actual millionaire. But it's still things we need to know. They believe that their financial independence is more important than displaying their high social status. Meaning, they care more about themselves than what about people think about them. Because usually people would think, like, I want people to think of me as gold, very wealthy, very strong, all of that stuff. But the successful, they don't care about that stuff. Like, they kind of do, because it'd be great if you had it, but you don't. Just because you're wealthy doesn't mean you have it. And just because you have it doesn't mean you're wealthy. So, just because you have a very expensive watch doesn't mean you're rich. You could be like this dude who got a bad loan.
They don't need to prove to anyone. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't need to prove to anyone. They just prove to themselves. Mm-hmm. And if yourself needs a watch to be proved, then I don't know. I don't know how to deal with that. But so this was they care about getting it done, not about what people think. They care about the reputation, but they're not too huge ego type of thing. But it's okay to get good attention, But you don't have to do everything in everybody's favor. Because if Sam Walton really wanted to be a huge ego, he would have bought everyone a house. He would have been like, you know what? Yeah, you can have a house. Oh, you want a car? Okay, here's the car. He could do all that, but he doesn't want to. I mean, some rich people do it, like a lot of YouTubers do it, but that's his focus. That's how they make money. That's their job. But these guys' job is not to give. They give at a certain time. They don't give to beggars. They give to people who are willing to change because it would just be their addiction, whatever it is. Like if it's a gambler and you give him money because he's begging, he'll just burn that money. You have to teach him a bit. So yeah, there's a lot more explanation on my Sam Walton review. I mentioned a lot about it because Sam Walton's life. So if you want to see that one on Kameron Pham blog, then you'll get the full explanation for it. The number 4 would be the parents did not provide economic outpatient care. I mean, a lot of them, the parents did not give them free money. They were not like, here's some money, run a business. Here's some money, do this. They were not like that. They did tell them to do it, but sometimes they didn't listen. But they weren't handed money. Because if you were handed money, then you probably wouldn't be working as hard as you would. But some people do. The adult children are economically self-sufficient, meaning they don't really spoil the children too much. and they let the children help themselves. Not literally, they kind of give them the tools needed, but it's like a race, kind of like that. If you have like a 5-year-old and in a Ferrari and everyone else has Toyotas, it doesn't mean they're going to win. That just means they have the right tools. The parents are not going to drive the car for them because they want the child to learn. So they just gave them the good materials and gives you a slight advantage. But you could still win when you're obviously against Ferraris and stuff. So the rest would be they're proficient in targeting market opportunities, meaning they're good at marketing themselves, kind of like selling themselves, pretty much like that, and they chose the right occupation, they know what they want, and they're not forcing themselves to do some random nonsense. It's like a person with passion for art and painting, they decide to become an athlete because it pays well. They're not going to be the greatest athlete because it's not what they like. They're always going to be thinking about art instead of exercising. So let's get on to the real book. So Meet the Millionaire Next Door. So this part was slightly confusing. I'm just going to summarize it just like how we do in the books. I was talking about some really stuff I didn't really understand, but I do know the moral. So they did some survey on what people think that millionaires have. They think they think they own expensive clothes, watches, and other status artifacts or things that they have. And they found out that that's not the case. They don't have that type of stuff. And they found out that this dude, who is trust officer, but he says that he spends more money for his suits than the average American, and he has a watch. Those are the people who are filthy rich. Like, I'm talking not like $600 million net worth rich, like that much, where they can do it. Like, they pretty much have their life vested for them. Now, billionaires, they could lose a lot of money too. Like Warren Buffett, I heard he lost like $1 billion in one day because the coronavirus and the stock market crashed horribly. So, yeah, you lose a lot more money when you're a billionaire, and you lose a lot more money when you're a millionaire, and a little bit less when you're not. So, this means that like very rarely billionaires would spend the money on expensive $5,000 watches and cars. And it says that a survey of these dudes. What's a trust officer?
Mm-hmm. Trust officer is like police or something. Someone that people can trust.
I don't know what you're trying to say, but what had surveys from actual millionaires, like they're having surveys from millionaires and asking them like what to spend your money on, and like most of the time they don't spend money on 1/10 of a $5,000 watch. I mean, try saying that to someone who has $16 million watch, but they don't spend any more than $1,000 or $500 on a watch. I mean, it's just time. Like, time is valuable and all, but you don't need to spend all that money to know what time it is. Because sometimes, the watches are too fancy, you can't even read it. Have you ever had that before? Like the diamond watches.
It shines your eye.
Yeah, they have so much diamonds on it, you can't even see the numbers. The numbers are diamonds. You can't even see it. And sometimes, like all of them are just lines and you can barely read it. It's just very confusing. You just need a clock to know what time it is, and slightly expensive to make it happy, but no more than $1,000 per watch. It's just crazy. So, and they said that they don't drive that much luxury cars. Only 1/10 drive luxury cars, like very expensive ones. And it says that most of the millionaires don't even have this year's car, meaning they don't have a 2020 Toyota. They don't have a 2020 Ferrari. They don't have 2020 Lamborghini. They don't have that stuff, or Honda. But they're likely driving a 2015 car or a 2018 car, something like that. But because they don't buy the newest model, they just don't. Because it's way too expensive. It's not worth it. You'd rather buy like a little bit older one. It still is perfectly fine. So, you have the portrait of a millionaire. So, this is really long. It's gonna be like forever. So I'm gonna talk about some other stuff. So you have I forgot what this dude's name was. I'm just gonna call himself. It said something Ford. It's not Henry Ford, but it's like Miller Bubba, whatever. I just call him Bubba. I just really like that name. I just thought about it. So this dude's name was Bubba, and his net worth is about 600K. And you're thinking, this dude's not wealthy, right? I mean, some people are thinking that. I mean, I'm not the only one, but some people are thinking he's wealthy, but a lot of people don't, because like he's not a millionaire. But the book says that he's considered wealthy because he's wealthier than some millionaires, meaning some millionaires are in so much debt. Like they're in so much debt, like even though they have $1 million in their bank account, it's gonna be gone when the bill come in. So, but he's gonna be debt free, and he has $600,000 in his pocket. Like he just has that. Millionaires don't have $600,000 in their pocket to spend. He's considered pretty wealthy, and according to what they said, he could continue working with. He could continue if he doesn't work. He could survive for 10 years, not even having to budget. Without working. That's a pretty good time. Like 10 years, you'll last the coronavirus for sure, and you'll just last a really long time. And he's considered wealthy, even though his net worth isn't $1 million. You don't have to have I mean, you kind of do. You need more than $1 million to consider a millionaire. He's not a millionaire. He's just wealthy. He's not a millionaire. You don't have to be.
When is that book written? It depends. Like 600K in the past is different than 600K now.
For the 21st century.
Okay.
Talking about 2000. So, like he's talking about like 2010, 2015, all that stuff. I don't know what was written. I mean, there should be a date. I don't know, but I think that's gonna wrap up today's video. I'm gonna mention about what I talk about. We're talking about a stereotypical millionaire, the 7 steps, and what the millionaires really are, and why you don't have to be a millionaire to be considered wealthy. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hope you guys enjoyed the other video. See you guys next time, and bye for now.